Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing something a little bit different for us. When I was up at the Best of the West show, I got this for free. So it's a 72nd scale pre-war plane. I don't know what it is. Guy had a big bin, and anything with the tag on it, the little dot, was free, so I grabbed it because I am an absolute sucker for these style of models. The older like fabric and early aluminum aircraft, all the pre-World War II stuff, World War I stuff. I just love this, especially in this scale. So anyway, so I grabbed it, and I don't know what it is. It looks like a RWD-8 DWL. It's made in Poland from PZW 72. I don't know. Anyway, I've never seen these before. I have no idea what it is. It actually doesn't say what scale it is, but with the 72, I assumed it was 72nd scale. Pretty simple little kit. And it gives you paint. All right, let me grab my knife and we'll get working on this. Okay. Okay, the decals look like they're in okay order. All the coloring's all written in Polish. Well, actually, it's I don't know. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's funny. So it's one step apparently. Cool. Let's code D&E. Let's be okay. Okay. This looks like a lot of little fiddly bits, but I think it'll be fine. I think we got this. Oh no, the paint's all dried out. Man. I think it's funny they give you one color and it's not even the color they show on the box. Love it. So this is like any other plane like this. Mostly the floors were wood and then the seats were leather. So we can make that happen easy enough. Oh, I almost messed up. They give you two little clear pieces I didn't notice. Oh, oh. So glad I saw that. Okay, and then we're supposed to have Part 23. Oh, those are super fine. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with that right now. Okay, so let me see. Let me clean this up a little bit. Geez, that's all one piece. That's really nice. Ouch, sorry. Yeah, that is one piece. That is beautiful. Okay. Let me just knock some more of these parts out of here, and we'll look and see where we're at as far as that goes. Okay. Okay, everything seems to fit together pretty nice. All right. Cool. Okay, let me clean some of this up. I'll glue some of this together, and we'll get started on this. All right, so I got this figured out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the floor into the fuselage, and then I'll put the seats together, and then I want to paint. I'll put the seats together, and then I want to paint the inside of this with silver. So the planes are supposed to be silver and red on the outside and just silver on the inside. So I'm gonna run with that. So there's that, and then we got to do the seats, and I plan on just gluing the seats in after we're done with the silver paint. I think that'll work fine. I was going to paint them brown, but I think I'm just going to paint them black. I think that'll offset the silver nice. Guess it helps if you actually get glue on here. Oh, those seats are pretty nice. I like them. Okay, that looks perfect. All right, so this is all pretty simple. Just primer and paint for the inside of this. I'm gonna use this gray primer. I was trying to do something with one, so this isn't actually like a gray primer color we sell. It's kind of a messed up color. Anyway, it'll work perfect for this. Okay. Okay, so there's that. I probably should come in and try to paint some of this stuff. Yeah. All right, that's good for that. So the problem here is I just don't have enough. That needs a bunch of stuff glued to it. So the bottom of the wing, all this stuff's going to be red, so none of that really needs to be glued on yet. So I can paint the entire wing silver without having to mess with it. And then that's all going to be put together. Okay. So yeah, just the wing and the top of this should be painted right now. So let's finish this up. Sorry, I forgot the air compressor still plugged in. Okay, I think that's it for right now. Let me clean out the airbrush and we'll come back and I'll hit the silver color. All right, got that all cleaned out. Now we're gonna shoot this silver. Now on this, I'm going with just one of our gloss enamels, just because I don't want to have to mess with the clear coat. So specifically, I'm spraying a DuPont Fleet color called Just Silver. That's the number right there, M1124. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, that looks great. I love that. Okay, cool. Now I know somebody's probably going to ask why paint it aluminum, or why paint it silver instead of spraying it with our super metals or aluminum. And the answer to that is because on the instructions I got out Google Translator and I tried to figure out what was going on with it, and it said that they were painted silver, not that they were a natural metal finish or anything. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, okay, I gotta do it that way. So my reasoning for using a gloss enamel is follow suit with that, because most of the finishes they would have tried to apply would have been would have been a gloss finish on them because they were a civilian. Because they were civilian aircraft, they were just a training aircraft. Yep. Okay, look at that. Okay. Yeah, that looks okay. I think you can use another. I think you can use another coat though. Okay. Cool. All right. Now we just gotta we're just gonna sit and let that dry, and then as soon as that's dry, we can glue in the seats, the control sticks, and we'll glue the fuselage together. So that'll be up next. Okay, paint's dry now, looking good. Just have to clean up the fuselage halves here where the paint got over, where we're going to come back and throw some glue on this thing. Okay. So I got the seats painted. And I got the control sticks painted. So it's time to do a little bit of glue work here. Okay. Okay. So there's that. I want to cut these off. Okay. And then on the instructions, they showed those pointing kind of forward. So that's how we'll do them. Okay. Oh, I goofed up a little bit. It's all right. I can. There we go. Okay. I learned the Sharpie trick from a very pro builder. One of the model shows I was at, we were talking, and he was showing off one of the cars he'd built. I was like, "Oh man, that thing is like flawless. It's beautiful." And he was like, "Nope." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Look at that thing. That is just amazing. Oh my god." And he was like, no, he's like most of the paint on it's just a black Sharpie marker. I was like, what are you talking about? And he was saying that he painted it and kind of rubbed through a few spots, and because of the time sensitive nature of the build, he didn't have enough time to go back in and fix anything on it, so he just faked it with a little bit of Sharpie, and it turned out looking fantastic. So that's what he did. But he didn't want anybody to, but you know, being a professional, the guy was like, I don't want anybody to think I'm doing something I'm not. But I was like, man, I never thought about that. And he was like, yeah, anything black, you can just do it with the Sharpie. That's cool. Look at that. Okay, so that looks really, really good. I like that. I shouldn't have done that, obviously. Okay, sorry. See, don't ever be afraid to modify stuff. Actually want to put a little bit bigger clamp on this than I normally run. Oh, maybe I don't. Let me see. No, I guess I don't. Okay. Okay. I'm actually really impressed with how well these fuselage halves go together. They fit really nice. I'm really happy with that. So it looks like the amount of work to clean up that's going to be very minimal, which is nice. So we'll just, ow, crap, that clipped off. You could hear that. Okay, so that's that for right now. We'll let that dry. We'll come back. We'll get a bunch of stuff glued onto that. Then we'll get it ready for paint. And that'll be our next thing up. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, so the glue set up really nice. This thing's nice and solid. I cleaned up some of the seam lines on it already a little bit. And it looks like I'm gonna have to add a little bit of putty to right there, a little bit here, and then some right here. So I'm gonna use this. This is their 3M Acryl Green glazing putty. To be honest, I don't really recommend this stuff. This tube was crazy expensive and it sucks. You can see where it just spit a bunch of crap all over my hands. Anyway, not a fan. I know to me it makes a really good putty. I've heard that, I don't know. I used to just use the old red glazing putty from these guys, or from Bondo, the red Bondo glazing putty. I used to use that a lot. It always worked really well. But anyway, yeah, so let me use any of those work. You can use anything on this, it'll be fine. What I like to do is this. Take a clean cap. Pull this off, you're gonna get that whole deluge of separated binder. This stuff's bad. Sorry, I was looking a lot. I wasn't expecting this to be this terrible. I'm sorry. I would have got this thing all kneaded up way before I put the camera to it if I had known. Anyway, then I like to pour some out. God. Yeah, this stuff was crazy expensive too. I'll just use this. But anyway, I like to get it in here and stir it up so it's really super smooth. And just really carefully lay it across where you need it to be. That's all over my hand and now it's eating into the... Okay. Okay. Okay, and then just right along the bottom here. Okay. Just a tiny bit there. And there we go. Okay. So then just take this. Actually, we'll just do it with this. Well, I don't want to do it with that. We'll just yeah, so we'll just take that and put it in there so nothing touches the spot we just filled up. Okay, so there we go. We'll let that dry. We'll send that back down and we can get to painting this thing. Okay, so we got the putty sanded off. It was pretty simple, just went over it. Whenever you're doing something that's rounded, make sure you always kind of round it off. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know that, but still, a little tip I like to give every now and then. So now we're on to part number 5. Okay, just touch this up a little bit just to make sure it's ready to go on the model without a problem. Let that clamp on there for a little bit. And then we need part number 1. So on this, it says that you should push the prop through that hole there where it comes out. And then you're supposed to heat the end of it up and make it so it spins. But there's a few things about that. I don't think that's going to work real great. So to be honest with you, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to hit this thing with some super glue and just glue it right in there. I'm just going to paint that black and then just super glue it on. So I have to say, honestly, you're about to see why I like doing these so much. Okay. I know there was a bit of work on here that had to be started and worked on and pushed through and all that to get it to where we're at, but honestly, now that we're there, yeah, we got her. We got her now. Okay. That's part 5, that's part 1. 13's out. That's ready to paint. Okay, so I want to put the landing gear on, which is number 15 and number 6. 7 on this side. I want to make sure I get these cut off properly. Okay, and then number 7. I'm telling you, I'm going to end up losing those before the video's done. Okay. So these are pretty simple. You just got to glue these onto the 2 nubs down the bottom here. I don't think that's right, because if that's going there, I think they did this wrong. Because yeah, even on the box it should be straight leg forward. And that's sticking out like that, so okay, so anyway, no big deal. No, you know what? I don't think these are different enough to be different, so I'm not going to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with gluing this on here. And then I'm going to put a little dot of glue right here, and then 2 little dots of glue right on the fuselage. And that entire assembly is surprisingly strong. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with doing the other side. I'll do it off camera, so just to save us some time. Okay, and then so working our way back. So we have 28 and 26 done. Okay, so next up would be these, but I'm going to paint those red separately. So working backward, that leaves number 8, which are these tiny, tiny little bell cranks here. Okay. And those glue in this little spot right here. And when you go to put them on, you got to be a little bit careful because they actually go on specific way for a specific reason. If you notice on the box here, they're right there and they're facing up and down. So okay, and like I said, I'm not gonna bore you with the other side. So let me actually get those two sides caught up, because when I do the tail I have to do a bunch of stuff and I want to get that done. Okay, so to get this going, we have, haha, look at that. Landing gear turned out really nice. Everything's nice and symmetrical. Got that number 8 right there, the little bell crank. I don't know if you can see that real well in the camera or not, but I got both of them. So we're good there. Now we have to do the rear tail, the empennage as it's called. So looks like that's gonna be that just got glue all over me. Oh well. Okay, make sure that's square. Okay, and then I'm going to let that sit for just a second, because now we need to glue these two pieces on here, these number 10s. Okay. Clean those tips up where we got we cut that off. Okay. And then it looks like this just goes on the bottom. Yeah, okay. So these look easy enough. It looks like it just goes from here to here. They just straight shot on there. Okay, and then same thing right here. Okay, that's nice and square. That looks good. So 10 and 10 and 21. And then we got to do the 220s, which are right here, and then we have to do the number 11 on there. Okay, so same thing here, just drop a glue, and then these go on. The cool thing about these is, if you're really feeling the need to come in and do some extra detail, you certainly could. I just dropped that. Okay, we're done for a second. Let me grab that. All right, I found that pretty easily. Now we'll move on to doing the rest of this. Okay, so of course we got to put a little dab of glue where it goes. God. Okay, I don't know why this one's fighting me so bad. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it had taken an issue with me trying to glue it on. Wow. Okay. Okay, make sure they're lined up. Everything's looking good. Okay. Oh, come on. I don't know why this thing's fighting me. Okay, now we got her. Now we're going to put glue on here. Okay, and it's 90 degrees, looks good. Nothing got knocked off doing that. Okay. That was a fight, but we got her. Okay. Those are on. So the next thing I want to put on is the 2 steps. Okay. All right, so okay. Okay, and then actually I'm going to kind of finish this up here, I guess, with number 9. And that's just a little tail hook thing here. That needs to slide over a bit. There we go. Okay. Now that is ready to paint. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, I got 2 more things to do to this thing. I want to put number 27 and number 4, the wing mounts. I want to put those on there before I paint it. Okay, so 27 is the back one. Okay, there's 27, and then here comes number 4. And I don't know who did the numbering system on these. You'd think it'd be like number 4 and number 5, or number 16 and 17 or something, but no. 27 and 4. Okay. Okay, and they're all lined up nice. They look good. They're sitting perfectly straight. I knocked off one of my little step things in the back here, so I'm going to fix that. Okay. Okay. So that leaves us with these parts, and all these parts need to be painted red because everything that mounts the wings red, and the wings painted silver already. So we just need to paint the fuselage silver, and then we need to mask off where we're going to mask off to do the red for the nose, and we'll be done with this thing. So let me here, let me do this. 4. Okay, and then yeah, and just the wheels and the prop, and yeah, we'll be done. So let me get this set up, and I need to mask off the cockpit there, and then we'll spray the primer on this, and we'll get going on it with the paint work. All right, it took a couple of tries, but I think I got it figured out. So here's how I'm going to do here's how I ended up doing the masking tape here. And burnish that down, and that leaves a little bit of a mark right here and right here, so I can see where the edges of the cockpit were at. Where did it go? The heck, here it is. Yeah, if you do that, don't worry about it. A lot of us other guys do it too. Set down a tool, 2 seconds later you're looking for this stupid thing. And then just come in here with the... see, that didn't even work. Okay, so I'll try it again. I'll get it figured out. Just give me a second. Okay, same deal, just better tape. that blue low tack just was not going to do it for me. So now we're ready. I'm going to start with the propeller here. Okay, let me shake this up. Oops. Okay, that works good. Okay, let me trim this back a little bit. Okay. perfect. All right. You stick that up there. And do these tires. Okay, now we got to figure this bad boy out. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, so here's how I think I'm going to do this. Okay, let me get a better hold on this thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I'll let that sit for a few minutes and let that dry, and then I'll paint the tail, and then we'll be ready to shoot some silver paint on it. So what my plan is to do is to paint it silver, and then I'm going to mask off for the red, and then we'll do the red, and that should be that. I mean, it should really be that easy. At least I'm hoping. I'm just kidding. No, everything on this has fit really well so far. I've been test fitting it along the way, and everything seems to be fine. So I'm not real worried about it. It's going to be good. All right, let me let that dry, and I'll finish painting that, and then I'll come back when we're going to shoot the silver. Okay, we have the primer done, and it looks awesome. How good that thing looks. So I just got to shake up the silver here. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to do an electric bottle shaker, get one. They work great. I love the one we have. So just got to do the okay. That looks good. Now on this, basically, we need to do the top of here and then back, and then just that edge down there and then back. So basically it's just like from the front of the front cockpit back. So that's easy enough. Okay. So that's that. We just got to let that sit for, I don't know. I'll probably let it sit until tomorrow. I didn't put any hardener in that, and we're shooting that in the gloss enamel. So I'm probably just going to let it sit until tomorrow. So we'll do that. We'll come back. We'll mask this off. We'll shoot all the other parts that need to be red, and this thing will almost be done. Okay, so I let that sit overnight, and I tested this out a couple of times, and I figured out how to mask off, how I want to mask off the side of the plane. So I just got to put this here, and then what I did was I took one of my toner cans, my big gallon toner cans, and my knife, and then you just take it from the top edge to the bottom edge there. Just follow that around. And there you go. Let me put this aside. And then, yeah. And I want that to start right there and run just underneath here. Want it to start right there. Run under that. Anyway, you can see what I'm doing there. So let me get this done so you're not bored with watching me mess with that 40 times. And then we'll get painting the red on this thing. Okay, we are all ready. Like I said, I let this sit for overnight. Now, because this is fresh paint, just go a little lightly with it. There is a weird light thing going on right there. Every time I hit that, it looks like it's missing paint, but when I can get directly into it, it's fine. Okay. And I did that, and then I did all the other stuff off screen earlier just to get it done. So that's all ready to go. It looks all good. Loving that red and that silver. That's going to look awesome. So let me clean the airbrush out, and I'll get the tape ripped off of here, and we'll see how it looks. All right. So it looks good. Look at that. Yeah, cool, right? So that's that. I'm gonna let that dry again, probably for the better part of the day, and then I have to do some decal work on the wings, and then we'll get the prop glued on and the wing glued on, and we're gonna basically be done. So I'll come up with that in just a second. Okay, so we're ready for a few finishing touches and then some decal work. To start out with, I want to glue a few items on here before we step up into the decals. There we go. Okay. So when I glue my props on, if they're a single blade, if they're a twin blade like that, I mean, I always do them. I always glue them on horizontal. That's what I was taught when I did my private pilot's license. Was that you wanted to leave the blade flat so the rain and the weather and stuff wouldn't mess it up. because I guess if you leave it straight up and down, there's a chance that the water and the crap might get into the front of the prop, and I guess it messes up everything under the cone and it'll screw up the prop itself. And so, like I said, that's what I was taught. Okay, so there we go. That is so cool. Okay, so now let's get to the decal part, and then we'll be ready to go here. Let me move this out of the way. All right, I have one more thing to do before I could put the wing on. I did do all the decal work on this thing. These decals are really old, and they seemed a little fragile to me, so I sprayed them with this Tester's decal bonder, because I was afraid if I put them in the water as they were just going to explode. They didn't. They actually turned out to be really nice decals. They just take bloody forever to soak up enough water to get them to come off of the decal paper. So I just hurried up and did them all. I decided to leave these two until I was done with it. So that'll come a little bit later. What I wanted to do was just get this taken care of real quick. And that is these little windshields. So they're relatively easy and they go on really fast, so no big deal, just kind of nothing to it but to do it. So I looked these up a little bit more. When I was doing the decal work, just to make sure I had a couple items correct on it. And man, I got to tell you, these things look like they would be a riot to fly. So they're a really nice pre-war. They're made in like 38, 39 as a trainer. They were used with civilian and the military. And they just look like they'd be super fun to learn in. Okay, so here's my plan. You can see how nice those decals laid out. Look at that. Both sides too, even around the little pin here, they came out real nice. Okay, let me just glue that in there square. And then these go straight and then back. Okay. come on. Okay. I'm really super happy with how this thing's going together. I'm actually very impressed with just how well thought out this kit is. I mean, with the exception of the decals, which I've put probably, honestly, I probably put close to 40-45 minutes into them. They took it. They're taking a little while, to be honest, but not like too bad. But they took a little extra, and it's fine. I mean, you know, as you can see, I got them to work out. They worked out great. It's just they took a long time. They took a long time to do. But I mean, you watched me pretty much build this in real time. So I think you've got a really good idea of how nicely this thing went together too. Now I got to do these, and I'm not going to bore you with that, and I think they're going to be, I'm afraid they're going to be kind of a pain to get on because of the way I did this, but so I don't think you need to watch me do that. So let me get these glued on, and then I'll do the decals, and we'll pretty much be done with this thing. Okay, so this wouldn't be fair to go all this way without showing the last part being glued in. So pretty simple. They just had part number 3 went in the back, part number 2 went up there. Gonna glob a little bit of super glue on them, and then they got these cool little tabs here where these go. So you just got to put it against the one on the, got to put it up against the one on the wing, and then push it up against the fuselage. Okay, and of course the one that I'm trying to do on camera is fighting me. Huh. What a shocker. Now, there we go. Okay, there we go. See? And just two little red bits there and behind it. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm going to throw these in here. I'm not going to make you watch that. I'll actually come back. We'll do the last one. I'll show you how good these go on. That way, I'm not going to make you wait for it, though. Not in the water. It takes forever. Alright, I just got this one to come off the backing paper. It's a little messed up, but it's fine. I can make it work. Okay, there we go. And then just gotta kind of roll on it with the, see, I'm telling you, the other one went on perfectly because it wasn't done on camera. This one wants to fight me because it knows it's on camera. Okay. Just gotta take it a different way. Sometimes that's all it takes. Let that sit here for a second. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. We are done with that. Let me clean this up a little bit and I'll do a little quick final review here with it. Okay. It is done, man. This thing is so cool. I'm loving it. How pretty that is. Those big markings on there. The paint turned out really beautiful. All the decals are just gorgeous. Loving it. So yeah, so like I said earlier, you basically watched me build that in real time. It didn't take that long. I mean, the video's like what, an hour, maybe a little over an hour. And I probably put another 2 into it off camera. And most of that was just waiting around for the decals. So yeah, not a big bet, not a bad time. Love it, love it, love it. I'm gonna try to get some more of those if I could find any. That's it for me. So thanks for watching. All the paint I used, the glue I used, not the super glue, but the model glue, the tweezers I used, a lot of that stuff. We sell it all on our website, so scalefinishes.com. Go there, use code YouTube10, get 10% off all that stuff. You can build a model nice like this too. Thanks for watching.